everybody, and welcome to Community Connections. It's December, and it's time for our holiday shows as we talk about what's going on in the community. First of all, I just want to give a big shout out to the town of Prescott Valley and the wonderful Winter Spectacular on Saturday, December 3rd. What a day full of everything wonderful, celebrating the winter holiday, Christmas. There was Santa Claus, there was a light parade, there was everything going on for the family. It looked like it was a wonderful event, and so many of our community members came out and joined us. So to the town of Prescott Valley, cheers to you for kicking off a wonderful annual holiday event that we're so proud of. So anyway, we're going to continue on. Part of our holidays is Hanukkah, and joining me now is Rabbi Dr. Susan Channerman from Temple Bris Shalom. She's new to the area, so I've been catching up with her. But this time of year is the holidays, and one of my favorite holidays is Hanukkah. And we're here to talk about it, talk about a little of the activities and events around, a little bit of the history on how Hanukkah came to be. So welcome, Rabbi. I will say Rabbi Doctor.
Thank you so much.
So good to have you. And I see you brought a menorah with us and a beautiful dreidel.
I did.
So let's talk about first a little bit the history of Hanukkah.
So Hanukkah is a historical holiday that started, the issue became in 167 BCE, which stands for before the Common Era. There was discord between the Assyrian king Antiochus, the fourth Epiphanes, and the Jewish people. And the Assyrians wanted the Jews to assimilate, wanted the Jews to give up reading Torah, to give up lighting their candles, to give up their temple, to give up being Jewish and to become more Greek. And there was a small group of Jews who said, no, we're not prepared to do that. So once the Assyrians had desecrated our big temple in Jerusalem, these Jews, led by Mattathias Maccabee the father and his 5 sons, one of which was Judah Maccabee, and Maccabee means hammer, and Judah was known as the hammer because he was so fierce. They formed a small army, but they were up against a big Assyrian army, so they had to use guerrilla war tactics, which they did. And over the next few years, they slowly but persistently defeated the Assyrian army. And in 164 BCE, they re-entered the temple, which had been turned into a Greek temple with idols and all sorts of unkosher, we say, objects. And it was their mission then to restore it to be a Jewish temple. And so one of our beautiful stories is that when they went to light the big menorah that lived in the temple, there was very little oil left. So they lit the first light, sent a messenger off, and miraculously the light lasted for 8 nights. And that gives us Hanukkah, the 8 nights of Hanukkah. And we light the menorah, which is actually called a Chanukia. That's the name of the Hanukkah menorah. We light it, it has 8 spots for candles and 1 extra, which we call the shamash, the helper. And you will find Chanukiot of all different designs. Sometimes they look like this, sometimes they have all of the candle holders on one side and the shamash on another. And we buy beautiful candles and we light the Chanukia each night of Hanukkah. And there is a tradition that women should not do any work while the Hanukkah lights are burning. So we are supposed to buy the biggest candles we can so that hopefully they will last for 20 to 30 minutes and women can sit and relax with a glass of something fruity and just enjoy the Hanukkah celebration.
Now that story I had not heard.
Yes, I like to tell that story so women out there go shopping for tall Hanukkah candles.
Right. And Hanukkah moves according to the Jewish calendar.
Yes, we follow a lunar calendar. So every year Hanukkah is slightly different. It's always the same in the Jewish calendar. It's always on the 25th of Kislev. So we are in the month of Kislev. And because our calendar is kind of late this year, Hanukkah begins on December 18th, the evening of December 18th. But my mother tells the story. I was born on Hanukkah, and my birthday was last week. She had just finished a big latke meal with potato pancakes, and she went into labor. So sometimes Hanukkah falls right around Thanksgiving, and you've even heard it called Thanksgiving or Hanukkah thing, or funny times. But this year it falls December 18th, and it doesn't end until the day of December 26th. So it will overlap with Christmas this year.
And the way kind of the holidays have intertwined at some point, that works out pretty well for the kids.
It's wonderful because we do have the tradition, because it's so close to Christmas, we have the tradition of giving children presents.
Yes.
Yes, and some children get a present every night of the 8, and some just get a few. It's a tradition that came about because here in America, we are following the Christmas tradition, and our kids are like, wait a minute, we need something too. Yes. So we do give gifts. We have this beautiful object called a dreidel. And the dreidel is a game. It has 4 letters on it. And it has chaya, hey, it has shin, gimel, and nun. And you spin your dreidel, and then it lands. And if it's shin, you put 1 into the pot. And if it is hey, you get half of the pot. And if it is gimel, you get it all. And if it is nun, you get none. So we play with, a lot of times, with little chocolate coins that we call gelt. Gelt means money. Or you can play with peanuts or pennies or whatever. So we do a little gambling on Hanukkah with our beautiful dreidel.
We have so many wonderful traditions associated with Hanukkah, and many of us, have grown up with over the years through friends and another family. We're kind of getting close to time, so I know you have a couple events you'd like to invite the public to. They're welcome to come.
Yes, December 23rd, we're having, Shabbat is our Sabbath, Friday night service, and we're combining it with Hanukkah, so we're calling it Kabbalatka, because Kabbalat is the name of the Friday night service, and latkes are what we're going to be eating. Latkes are our traditional food, potato pancakes with either sour cream or applesauce. And we also eat jelly donuts. So fried foods to remind us of the oil are our tradition. So anyone is welcome to join us. Just call the temple for details. And then on December 16th, I will be at Peregrine Bookstore at 10:30 with my guitar, with songs, with stories, with crafts. So we're welcoming all children in the area to come for a Hanukkah story time.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Rabbi. Happy Hanukkah to you.
Thank you very much.
Look forward to seeing you, and we appreciate you joining us here on Community Connections.
My pleasure.
Short break, and we'll be right back.
Thanks to your generosity, Marines have delivered Christmas to children in need since 1947.
Hey, welcome back to Community Connections. Joining me now is Damon Olson, the CEO of our YMCA here in the Prescott area, and also Dr. Wayne Bennett, who also serves on the board of directors for the YMCA. And we're here to talk about Prescott Valley's YMCA, and I know maybe you've heard a lot of things going on, seen some articles in the newspaper. We've been hosting a lot of open houses at the chamber for people to come in and get more information. But there's a lot of good talk coming up, and I think things are moving forward, so they're going to talk about what we can look forward to and anticipate for our Prescott Valley YMCA. So I will let either one of you fine gentlemen start it out.
Jump in.
It's a labor of love, though. I do have to say, it's a labor of love. A community like ours is growing. You know, Damon,
Yes.
you've watched probably the Y over there since you've been there.
Yeah.
Attendance just has grown exponentially because of the growth of both our communities.
Yeah, correct. And this has been definitely been a labor of love. This is my 12th, just finishing up my 12th year here, and there's been many different attempts before. But early in 2019, we had a meeting with the Fain family, and then we got together with the town, and our motto has been, "We are a go until we're a no, and we are a go." So it's been exciting. You're right. The town has grown. The town of Prescott Valley has grown exponentially,
Sure.
just in the time that I've been here, as well as the growth in Prescott. So the services of the YMCA are definitely in need. We've identified childcare as being really a pressing need
Yeah.
in the Prescott area, but also the Prescott Valley area. So there's been a lot of due diligence leading up until this point to where we've gotten right now in terms of studies and surveys, because when you endeavor to do a project like this, you certainly have to measure twice and cut once.
Right,
So,
yes.
and you're talking about millions and millions and millions of dollars. So we've done a lot of measuring and a lot of measuring and a lot of measuring, and we're at the point where we think we're ready to do something really special for this community. So we're excited about what's going to happen.
I'm excited too, just because of the convenience in having it here in PV.
Certainly.
Because we talk about transportation as one of the issues, and not everybody has the two-car family or whatever, and having it right here in our backyard, which is literally, we're in the Civic Center studio. It is in our backyard, right across the street.
It is. Yeah, it's really exciting. When we had the discussions, the Fains were generous enough, and they were on board, and we had 3 different sites picked out. And their site right downtown Prescott Valley, which you said is just right over there,
Yes.
came in as being a site that people could get to the easiest, and right in the core of the downtown area.
Community, right?
Yes. So
It's
where Prescott Valley at this point is lacking a community center, this will be a community center for the community of Prescott Valley. So we're super excited about that. In order to make it work, you certainly have to have partners, and we've gone out and we've been raising money all throughout probably the last year and a half, raising money to make sure we got to this point. But what's critical to understand is that our relationship and the partnership from the town of Prescott Valley has been phenomenal. Without the Fain's participation with the land, but without the town stepping up and saying, we want this.
right.
Not only being partners in making things happen, but also financially. They're a
Right.
big part of why this YMCA is going to be special. So big thanks to the town of Prescott Valley.
Yeah, and then planning the facility itself, Dr. Bennett, I know that lots of surveys went out. You actually took public input and then sat down and said, okay, here's what this YMCA in Prescott Valley is going to look like.
Yes.
So is it part of a plan in stages, or what are we looking at in that? Everybody's going to say, when's it going to come? Now that you say we're talking about it, it's like, okay, we're excited, when's it going to come?
When are you going to break ground? That's
Right.
what we hear. That's the first thing that everybody says. Heard about the project. When are you going to break ground?
That's-
And as you wisely ask, and as Damon said, we measure twice and cut once. And we need to know specifically what the needs of the YMCA community are. And we've known the need was great since the first effort we made at this was in 2000.
Right.
And a number of attempts have been made coming to this point. And specifically, we should mention Mayor Palguda and his initiative to get this ball rolling as well. It was the energy that he created that helped make this process move forward. And when
Right.
the town of Prescott Valley then funded a series of studies, the first of which selected the site, which, by the way, that site next to is it Bob Edwards Park?
Bob Edwards Park.
I'm going to call it Bill Edwards Park for some reason. Bob Edwards Park That site is within walking distance of 6 different educational institutions. It's within walking distance of the Civic Center. It's next door to a public park. It's a wonderful location, and it was carefully selected. Then we assessed the needs of the community with a 10,000 piece survey. We hired consultants to come in and do that, and that survey gave us a very, very strong feel for the pulse of this community and for the needs of this community. Then we were able to bring aboard consultants who just design YMCAs. It's over 600. And they put those needs together in a facility, and that's the plan that we want to build ultimately. We know what we're going to be able to build. If we stopped raising money right now today, we would be able to build a base YMCA that would be the first of 3 phases that would get us to that ultimate design. What happens between now and the next several months in terms of fundraising will determine how far we get in terms of approaching that model that will meet the real needs of our community.
So right next, we're still continuing to raise money, raise awareness too.
Absolutely.
Because I know we're doing a lot of the open house, the meet and greets, educational at the chamber. And so those dates are coming up, and they're out on Facebook to let people know to come and help us support this. And how can we support it to make sure? But you said we can still build it right now.
Yes.
So that's the exciting news.
Yeah.
The exciting news.
Yes.
So what next then? What are we doing as we continue forward? What are you breaking ground?
As a matter of fact, our game plan at this point is, and as Damon mentioned, the town of Prescott Valley is very much a partner and a stakeholder in this. And we have a development agreement with particular benchmarks in terms of timing. And we have announced to the town of Prescott Valley that at this point it is our intention to do a ceremonial groundbreaking in May of 2023.
That's exciting.
And so that's on record. And now we have identified a number of donors, larger donors, but at this phase in our campaign, we're now doing what you just talked about, going to the community and begin to have these mini dialogues, talking to people about the why, helping them to understand the big why vision. So many people go, well, yeah, I learned to swim at the Y, or my mom does silver sneakers at the Y. They all have a different view of what the Y does, but it's a bigger challenge to understand that the overall impact of a YMCA is so much more than that. The impact on a community of a YMCA, like the YMCA we have in Prescott, is massive.
It's going to bring the community together.
Exactly.
And so more on this, May 2023. We're so excited. Contact the Chamber, 772-8857. We'll also put the WISE email on there, or Damon, for more information, but come and join us on this journey. We're excited it's happening.
Yeah, we are too.
Thank you for joining us. Short break. We'll be right back. We got a very special guest coming up.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back to Community Connection. So glad you're spending time with us today. Great show going on, and we got a very, 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 very special guest joining us now. Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus are here in the studio, and it is such a pleasure to have you. I know you're so busy right now.
So very busy. I've been checking for your name on my list, young lady, and you're right there, and it has an asterisk that says awesome.
Oh, yay.
I haven't seen your letter, Marnie. What do you want
I
for Christmas?
haven't had a chance to write the letter yet, but I know we've still got a little bit of time, but you're making your rounds visiting all the boys and girls.
Yes, we
And
are.
you're bringing
we are.
Mrs. Claus.
Mrs. Claus is helping out all over.
So,
And I've been very busy making cookies for Santa and watching the elves too, because they got to keep an eye on them with all the toys we're making for the children.
I was going to say with Santa here, I was watching the elves, but I'm sure you probably have a head elf.
Yes, I do have a head elf, and he's doing a fantastic job.
Well, you got to make sure he's not eating too many cookies.
I make sure.
Christmas night.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, Santa, what are the kids asking for this year?
Oh boy, the boys are looking for the Legos still. And
Oh, okay.
The new Oculus goggles.
Oh, yes.
I've been playing with that too. It's so much fun. And the racer bumper for the Hot Wheels Mario Kart.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
All
God.
right.
So much fun, so much fun. And the girls?
Barbie dolls are a big hit, but they have to come with their house, of course.
Yes.
And the Play-Doh ice cream cart set, which is new. And I just
My-
love these ideas for these children. They're having so much fun.
Oh, they're so great. So, where have you been? I know that you were out with us at the Winter Spectacular last Saturday night, and
Yes, yes.
you saw a lot of kids.
Many children, so much fun. And I came for the Fane Park. It was so
The
much
stroll
fun.
through Valley of
So many
Lights.
wonderful children, and parents are getting into the Christmas spirit too.
Yes.
Yes, and it's wonderful seeing that they're happy and they're gay with the greetings for their little children and seeing the happiness in their hearts.
Well, Santa, somebody may not be on that list yet. You know, the nice list. Is there still a chance that they could get on the nice list if they're working really hard to be, good boys and girls?
Well, I hope they all try, because
Yes.
they go down the wrong path a little bit, but they all come onto the path of right, and they're having fun with all the other children.
Do you answer the letters that the kids write to you?
Of course I do,
Okay.
every one of them. And she keeps me up at night with writing and eating cookies and milk.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
Santa.
much fun.
So, Santa, one of the questions people ask is, how do you visit all those houses, all those kids on Christmas Eve?
Well, my elves are a special group. I have a whole division of elves that made me a nano propulsion system. I have a hybrid sleigh now.
Oh, my
with
goodness.
The specialized GPS. It's not a problem at all. I'm going to go to every child's home and deliver toys.
Now, what if they don't have a chimney, though? Because a lot of people say, I don't have a chimney, so Santa can't slide down my chimney to come into my house.
Well, that's a professional magic secret. I can't tell you.
Santa magic.
I come into the home and still put the toys under the tree.
So, what's your favorite cookie?
Chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip. So, if the kids were going to leave any snacks for Santa, chocolate chip cookies?
Cookies. That keeps me going. A little bit of milk. I love my milk.
Now, what about the reindeer?
Oh, the reindeer are getting a special blend because it's a big night and they have a lot to do that night. And we fly through the air as quick as you can go.
Well, how does Rudolph feeling? Because I know Rudolph always leads the way.
We put new batteries in his nose.
Yes, we did.
That's a trade secret.
Okay, we won't tell anybody that,
But Rudolph is doing fantastic. He's growing up and he is playing reindeer games now.
So we always talk about Santa and Mrs. Claus and children, but aren't we all children at heart and have a special place? Do you? If I gave a wish list, does Santa make my wishes come true?
Yes, Santa wants you all to be happy children, even if you're an adult.
Even if we're an adult, even
Remember
if
back when you were a child. Remember when you looked at the lights in the Christmas tree, remembering that this is the birth of Jesus Christ and that we are celebrating Christmas in our own ways.
Right. Everybody has their traditions, and that's
Yes.
what's fun. And I was thinking about that the other day, the traditions we had as kids growing up, and I'm thinking, that was so long ago, and yet it seems like yesterday that I got that Chatty Cathy doll.
Yes.
I should probably just dated myself.
Well, happiness never leaves us. We always
Yes.
have those happy places in our hearts.
So I know that Santa is around. Kids can still come and talk to Santa. They feel like if they don't see you, that their Christmas wishes won't be granted. So are you going to be around anywhere else in the next few days or the weeks that people can come and see you?
We have appearances at different places around town and Prescott, so and Phoenix. So it's a busy time of year, but I still have to touch bases with the North Pole, and Mrs. Claus keeps me straight.
Absolutely.
Does she come with you all the time, or does she go back to the North Pole to check on things?
Well, she's been coming to our appearances more and more, and she is so much fun, and the children absolutely love her.
Yes,
She is
the
so
children
pretty.
are wonderful.
So you were, this is your first year really coming along with Santa Claus.
Yes, it
Are
is.
you enjoying it, Mrs. Claus?
It's so much fun, and seeing the children and the expressions when they see me that I can actually make it with Santa. They're just, it's wonderful.
It's kind of nice to be out of the kitchen making those cookies
And that's
too.
true too.
You
Yes.
know, you've got a little break here. So
I
do.
need more cookies.
well, I know that we're going to have Santa at the Prescott Valley Chamber on December 22nd.
Yes.
So it's a last chance at the chamber office starting at 2 o'clock for those kids that might find themselves a few days before Christmas and haven't talked to Santa. We're going to be inviting Santa to come and join us, and we'll have cookies and hot chocolate and cider. So we invite anybody to come over that day and visit. But meanwhile, go ahead and write your letter to Santa. Go ahead and practice being nice, not naughty, but nice, and Santa will make his way. So we
Yes.
really appreciate you being
Yes.
here with us. What are you going to do now? You got to go visit somebody, or are you going to go head back to the North Pole and work on toys?
We have more requests for appearances for the next week or two.
Yes.
And I just want to remind every child to try and do good. Love mommy and daddy, and always help around the house.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. We appreciate you, and you have safe travels. And I'll be sure and get my little list off to you right away, because I am on the nice list, Mark.
Yes,
just
you
saying.
are. We love you,
We
Marty.
love you too. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you.
Okay, thank you for joining us today on Community Connections. More coming up in the next 2 weeks. Meanwhile, enjoy your holidays. Mark and all of us, we'll be back in 2 weeks.